Okay, this is the final video. And here's your moment of silence. So he can calibrate to the background.
At the end too,
I see. Okay.
We'll try to remember to be quiet for at least a full second.
Yeah.
Joe was like, there's a problem. Sometimes I need a full second of silence in the footage to calibrate to the background, and there never is one.
That sounds like a problem. I mean, that sounds like a problem I have personally.
All right, bye-bye.
I'm pretty sure that Ollie's like, I would also like a full second of silence for the sound to recalibrate.
Just
once
one
in every 10
second
years.
of silence.
Now that he's got two of us to deal with too, he's like, I would like 1 millisecond of silence at some point in the next 25 years. And we're going to be like, no.
It's not going to happen.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's just not on the table.
No.
Hey, y'all. We're doing it. Even though we sit amongst chaos, we have all my eyeshadow palettes in front of us, Julia and I, and we're going to pack them with this honeycomb paper and talk about how it's been to live together for the past year and a half, because that's what we've been doing. And if you're new to my channel, since Joe and I moved in here, and since we filmed a couple of videos about our communal living plan for the first year of COVID, and then it's kind of like gone on. I'm not going to tell you about it right now. I'm going to leave the videos.
Sorry.
I'm going to leave the videos linked to the top of the description box. The first several videos that I filmed with Julia back at the beginning, and the video that I filmed about our move from our downtown apartment to this beautiful house. So if you'd like to get caught up, then you can click through and watch those videos and then come back and watch this one. And if you already know, then get excited because Julia's back again.
Wait, I feel like I'm supposed to do this.
We knew we had to squeeze in one more video together before this situation came to its final close, and that's what we're doing. And that's the entire plan. We haven't written an outline. It's not a Q&A.
Yeah, we actually don't have, I don't know what's going to happen.
We don't know what we're doing. Much like life itself.
Yeah.
Which, if I were to guess, is going to be the moral of the video. Stay tuned until the end. And now.
Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. I feel like I said meat while I was looking at you, but I should say meat while I'm looking at the people. Meat people.
Let's go ahead and get into the meat people.
Into the meat people.
I just thought of a potential problem with the plan.
What is the problem? That we don't have scissors?
No, because this stuff is great. And actually, if you're packing to move anytime soon, don't get bubble wrap. Get this because it's not plastic, so it's much more eco-friendly.
Yay!
It's just paper, and it's very effective.
Oh, wow.
My worry is that
The noise.
Here's what we need to do. So that we can claim that this video is Julia helps me package my eyeshadow palettes, which we have to do so that it's relevant to makeup and will perform in the algorithm.
And also because you need to pack your eyeshadow.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like every 5 minutes we should pause, hold up a palette, each of us quickly wrap it, and then we put it down and we proceed.
That sounds organic. Let's do it.
Yeah. So I have just in a very natural fashion wrapped up the Kaleidos Sci-Fi Green palette. It's discontinued, I think, actually. I keep it because the black is really strong. It's my favorite black eyeshadow.
I feel like I put that in your, like when I made a advent calendar for you. I put it in there.
Did.
Yeah, because I thought the packaging looked really pretty.
Kaleidos has the best packaging. Which palette are you going to wrap, Julia?
I think I'm going to, on my theme of packaging I'm going to pick this, shockingly, Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. Why are you keeping this one? What do you like in here?
I just think it's really pretty.
It is really pretty.
Here, hold it up for the people. If you hold it for as we cover our faces, then it will...
Wait.
It will focus.
Oh, yeah.
Or will it?
No, it won't. Whose head is it that's causing the problems? Wait, move together and then we'll put this like...
A question for the ages.
A bar across it. No, we did it. We just had to cover both of our eyes.
Back here with us.
Okay, well,
here.
I don't know, but
isn't it pretty?
The gold is really nice.
Do you want it? Get ready for me to try to give you makeup for this whole video.
Get ready for me to say no for this entire video.
I have already decluttered my palettes, and I actually do want to keep
I think this is very lovely. Okay.
I'm going to wrap another one while this is happening. I'm taking this ZC palette with me. They're going to be in the box. This is my plan. They'll be in the box with like each one individually wrapped, and so there will be all of this honeycomb paper in between them.
Right.
And they'll be close packed.
No,
and I think
this is
that
great.
should be...
It's
it kind of
genius.
smells good.
Oh, yeah.
It smells like a
Is
fine...
it just because it's been in here with you? It smells like your perfume.
Oh, that's so nice. It smells like a fine perfume.
It smells like sandalwood. But
it's not the paper.
It's just sandalwood soap that they probably put the paper in.
I don't think it's the paper. I think you're right.
It's you.
No, it's the paper.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Okay, what do you think the people are going to want to know?
What do the people usually want to know? You're the one who knows the people.
I mean, I do get questions in the comments from time to time that are like, how's it going? And I feel like in the context of the other videos in which we were like, we're going to record a video together every month. Or
Did
like,
we say that?
I mean, I think that we thought that we were going to try. And in the lead up to filming this, I've been asking myself, like, what happened? I feel like in my memory, there was a really big shift when the vaccination happened in terms of like what the schedule was like inside the house and how much time we all had. And you started going to teach in person and Ollie started going to work in person. And so it didn't feel anymore like we were all sort of in a spaceship together. And I feel like in the spaceship time, it felt like there was room for us to schedule every once in a while to sit down and film together. Not just the check-ins, but like the video that we tried to do about making body scrubs, which we should explain why that didn't pan out. And we didn't talk about
the body scrubs
panned out.
They were great.
There's like the before times and the after times, I feel, in our
It was so long ago
cohabitation.
that I can't even remember now. It's been almost a year since everyone got fully vaccinated now. I don't know. I mean, I feel like part of it also just has to do with like baby stuff.
Baby stuff.
Baby stuff.
I'm totally keeping that in. If you think I'm cutting that, you're wrong. In fact, I'm going to put it on repeat. You're going to sing
No,
baby stuff.
that's not okay. You're not authorized to do that.
And it's going to incrementally
with my
zoom
image.
in on your face. You be like, waving.
No, you cannot do that.
Like a classic
because
YouTube
that's
edit.
like, oh, that's so rough. That reminds me of, I've told you about this, right? About the sadistic science teacher that I had in the 7th grade who, as a facet of our abstinence-only sex education, made the incredibly questionable decision to show us a video of a woman actually giving birth. But that wasn't enough because can you imagine we were like 11 and 12. Like, it was horrifying already. But then she did this thing where she split screened it and then again until finally the image was showing something like 16 times on the screen of this woman giving birth. I'm still traumatized. Yeah. Yeah. And yet I still had a child.
I'm so proud of you for
Thank
unlearning
you.
your abstinence only at sex education.
Thank you. Thank you. It took a lot, but I made it through.
Well, I would just put it to you that you singing baby stuff in a sing-songy tune is a far cry from a close-up on the crowning head of a child during a woman giving birth.
Let's hope so.
It's all YouTube. That's like
live.
classic YouTube editing. In fact, your former sex ed teacher, she should just switch to editing YouTube videos because that's the kind of editing magic that YouTubers need.
Well, she's
Not
probably
need, but
like
most of them
67 years old now, but
moonlighting.
but I'll try and track her
editor.
down and let her know.
Maybe she wants to edit that clip for us.
I bet she does.
All right, we're getting way off track. Let's bring it back by wrapping.
By wrapping something.
Yeah. I'm going to wrap the Jungle Lights palette.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to find things that I think I put in your advent calendar and then wrap them. And I see one already.
Personal
is this for
connection.
me? Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap the Natasha Denona gold palette.
Okay, you have to hold it up. You don't have to show the inside. It too, sadly, is discontinued. I think we need a box. This isn't going to be their final resting place, but it'll be.
But yeah, I mean, I just feel like the older she gets, I don't think more tired is probably wrong, but I feel like I was, I feel like it was very.
I thought you meant your teacher.
Oh, my math.
the
my science teacher.
The older she gets. Very brief for people who might not know the history. Julia and her husband Ollie had a baby pretty much right at the beginning of the pandemic, like right before. During that time, Joe and I were living in like a studio apartment downtown. And as the first months of the pandemic unfolded, it became increasingly clear that Joe and I needed to leave our apartment for a variety of reasons, and we kind of needed somewhere to go. Julia and Ollie also, their childcare plans
Didn't exist.
fell through as like
we didn't have them.
too weak a phrase, but I feel like their grandparents were going to contribute and they couldn't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, once upon a time, we had this plan where like they were going to cover some amount of time.
Yeah.
And then that didn't happen.
And just
also,
the normal
like,
kind
no
of
daycares.
No daycare. Yeah, and then like the normal kind of support you would have
Yeah.
from community and family. Everyone was staying home, so it
Yeah.
wasn't there. So they invited us to move in to some rooms in their house that they weren't using. This is one of them. And we have been here ever since, and we've been helping with the baby and helping with the household while we've been here. And gosh, then suddenly like a year and a half passed. So when we speak of the baby, we were talking about Julia's child, and I have become her Auntie Hannah.
You always were her Auntie Hannah.
It's true. It's true.
You're her extra Auntie Hannah.
Yeah, the real deal.
Yeah.
The real Auntie
Real
Hannah.
Auntie Hannah. When she was a little tiny baby, I was tired because we weren't sleeping at all.
Yeah.
But now she has so much energy, and she's still not quite at an age where she can really just like go off by herself. Every amount of time that I'm not working at my job is spent like entertaining her or being with her while she entertains herself, assisting in the cleanup of whatever happened when she was entertaining herself, and feeding her, and all of it is very tiring. And so I feel like the thing that also happened was that I was like, I want to take a nap during her nap time on the weekends.
There was a time during which it was reasonable for us to say that we would sit down and film YouTube videos together regularly, and then suddenly it became totally unreasonable to have said that we would do that for all sorts of reasons on both of our ends, I think. Because I have also, my schedule's changed and gotten really full, and editing has become more of like a clockwork thing. You know what I mean? It used to just be like, what are we doing this week? And now it's kind of like, we got to hit these markers.
Yeah, I feel you're on a very delineated schedule.
Yeah, it's become more professional, basically, the way that we run the channel, and it's harder to fit in wild cards.
Fit in unprofessional people.
You're like literally 1,000 times more professional than me, just for the record, in life.
What am I? Baby stuff.
Briefly, we'll touch on the snafu that was the making body scrubs video, because we did.
I forgot that we did that until I ran out of body scrub literally this week. And then I was like, I need to fill up all these empty containers with body scrub stat. And then I remembered that we had all that stuff on the back staircase.
We did a video reviewing body scrubs because it's a type of beauty product about which we're both passionate, which is difficult to find because Julia is not passionate about makeup or most other beauty things.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay. We love you just the way you are.
I understand why other people are passionate about them.
And that's also why we love you.
And I am very passionate about smooth skin.
So we did a video reviewing all the body scrubs we've ever tried, which was a doozy, and I'll obviously link that one. And then we were like, let's make our own body scrubs. And I had visions of it being like one of those crafting channels where you're, sitting behind a table full of beautiful supplies and you're showing how to make things, and it's very inspiring and it's very refined and light fills the room. And so we got all of these body scrub ingredients like butters and sugars and essential oils. We did do it. We set up.
We totally did it.
But it was so hard to set up like all the lights and get the shot. And it was like this huge thing. And then we finally pushed through. We filmed for like 3 hours.
Forever. We
experimented.
Forever.
Trial and erroring the body scrubs.
Everyone in the house was like, you're still here.
And the house filled with what became sort of an unsmellable concoction of the mix.
Do you remember that thing you made? Where you were like, let me pour half of the scents that we got of like 30 cents. You were like, let me put half of them into this one.
I was optimistic about my talents as a scent mixologist.
I can't remember what you called it, but I feel like we should have called it the thing.
I think you named it something disparaging. The footage is theoretically still available. The short story is I got into editing it and it was so boring because we spent a lot of time just murmuring to each other and mixing and being like, I'm going to try that. And like, I was just like, this is mind numbing. And we just got really sucked into the task and like the creativity, which was great for us and our scrubs and our skin, but it didn't make a good video. And it's the only time that's ever happened to me. Halfway through editing, I just admitted defeat and I was like, this is really hard going and there's nothing that I can do to make this into a good video.
I actually feel like this is the epitome of the phenomenon of like why sometimes really funny people don't make good stand-up comedians.
Yes.
You had to be there. We had a great time.
We had fun. But it's like why people who are good at making body scrubs don't make good videos about
themselves making body scrubs.
And why people who are theoretically good at making videos don't make good videos about making bodies
with their friends.
Something went horribly wrong.
Yeah, it was like, I feel like I was the X Factor in that.
But
although the X Factor is supposed to be the thing that makes it better, I was the Y Factor. I was the Ick Factor. I don't know when I was a negative intervening factor.
But I don't accept that because it's always gone great when we filmed other things together.
But I think when we film other things together, the point is for us to talk to each other.
Yes.
And there, the point was for us to like do a thing, and the talking was subsidiary. We didn't really have a plan for the talking.
So the ick factor was the body scrubs.
I mean, your body scrub was definitely an ick factor.
That's what we should have called it.
The ick factor.
And also the closet clean out video was great. Remember your
closet
declutter was fantastic. But it was because we had some structure. We kept pausing and talking to the camera, and the body scrub, it just went into the toilet. It was not good. And at least one of the scrubs that I mixed also went into the toilet. But tell about the scrubs to the people. Answer the question, how did it go when you made your own body scrub?
Oh, it went really well.
The video.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think my takeaway from that experience was that I definitely need to just keep a giant bag of turbinado sugar and some... I don't know where you got the scents.
I don't remember where I got
But they
them.
weren't very expensive.
No. It's the thing, one of the takeaways is that especially if you go through a lot of body scrub, it's way less expensive to make your own, and the quality is through the roof if you make your own.
That's like the deal. I have 3 giant tubs of self-made body scrub, and it didn't even take that much. Like, I'm sure there are correct ratios and like things that you could do to optimize the body scrubs, but I'm here to tell you that I ran out of body scrub last week, and I remember that there was a giant bag of sugar and some shea oil on my back staircase, and I was like, I'm just gonna throw that into a bowl with a scent, and now I have a really nice body scrub. It's great. When I take a shower and I put it on, at the end my skin looks like a waxed apple. It's awesome. The water just runs off. I feel like the moisture is being locked in.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I feel well preserved.
I'll link the things that we bought. The stuff that's on the back staircase. I'll go find out what it is and link it because it's great. And I regret that I have not been able to bring this information to you before.
It was awesome. Yeah.
It went beautifully. It was just the video.
I feel like the fruit in a Harry and David's pack when I get out of the shower, which consequently is what that wrapping paper reminds me of.
Actually, yes, it's all coming together. Which reminds me that maybe we should wrap another eyeshadow palette too.
Okay, what am I going to choose?
I'm wrapping the Club Nebula palette.
I'm looking through all the palettes. Oh, I definitely put this in one of your things, but it's just a magnetic palette that you put. Oh, what is that?
Those are the Salt New York. Mostly they're the shade adjusters.
What do they do?
You should hold them up.
I don't know what this is.
So some of them are, I'll show you the ones that will make more sense to look at.
There we go.
It worked.
Yay! Dun, dun, dun.
So some of them are like blushes. Cream blushes.
Right. That I feel like I would intuitively understand, but the colors in this are so interesting that I am kind of like, what?
They're made so that you can adjust the shades. If you want to make it like browner or yellow or red. Isn't that fun?
That is fun.
I know. And I actually just filmed a whole video that will probably have already gone up about where it was like a close-up overhead of me playing with the Salt New York shade adjusters. And I mixed myself like a custom blush. And I made myself a custom palette, which is basically the only makeup that I'm going to have with me for these 3 weeks. But these are all the ones that I didn't pack. And actually, oh no. And actually, these are all of the sneaky balms, so there's probably one in your shade. Do you want to try to put one on your face?
Fine, I'll let you do it.
No.
Just because you've been
No
here
pressure.
for so long and you never got to.
Also, they're particularly good for olive skin tones.
Yeah, I can see that.
Which one do you think you are?
Right now, maybe
You're
that one? That one?
Wow, it's such a good match.
It's
That one is such a good match for the back of your hand. So this
I'm
is
so light right now.
N08, shade 8 in the Sneaky Balm.
But then my face is probably going to be even one lighter than that, right?
Yeah, actually, I think you're right. Let's try the lighter one. But all of them look like they would be beautiful for you. Aw, it's so nice.
Okay.
I mean, not like you didn't look nice before. You always look nice. I'm just saying.
No.
It's fun to see the right color. And it's also fun because it's not my face. I'm so tired of my own stupid face.
I like your face.
Thanks. Good. I'm glad you... I feel
like you're glad I still like your face.
Actually, the takeaway is that we've lived together for a year and a half
and we still like each other's faces.
Remember last night when we were watching Drag Race?
Yes, and we were like... we were like,
Andrea's probably like... we were watching Drag Race as we do, and that's... I feel like one of the questions is like, what were our favorite parts? Like, I feel like we should answer like, what was the best thing about like living together?
Well, the best thing,
I don't want to put too much on because I feel like
the best thing is not going to be surprising. Like, the best thing is living in a house with your best friend. Like,
yeah.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
But like, but maybe there's like some more nuanced.
Yes, I mean, I feel like the best part in a slightly more specific sense was getting to be such an integral part of the baby's life. Like, I have friends who have kids who I love and who I'm connected with, and who the kids know who I am, and they call me Auntie Hannah. This is like a whole other level.
Yeah, you're like her family.
Yeah, 1000%. A sad thing is, like, she's young enough that there's a chance that she might not remember. So we've talked a lot about what we can be doing to help her remember this time, taking pictures of the space as it looked, and I'm having some pictures printed that I've taken over the course of the time. But even if she forgets, there will always still be this bond, and it's the best. But in an even more specific sense, the best times have been like the four of us watching Drag Race together on the couch. It's just so good. When we were watching last night, I realized that this season's not going to end before, like, we're going to be watching the end of this season in our new house, and I was crushed.
Yeah, I was really surprised that you hadn't realized that yet, but I'm sorry. So for me, it's like everything then becomes like a more macro answer, because it's like, yes, specifically it was like fun to cook together in the kitchen, but I feel like the real answer is that like, even when you've known someone for a really long time, when you don't share living space with them, there's still kind of like a wall up in terms of like what they know about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just can't really have that when you're living with someone, and so we don't have that anymore. Yeah,
the answer to the best thing is like everything and nothing. And that's kind of another thing that happened, I feel, partway through. When we were checking in so much at the beginning, it was like, we're doing a thing. And then somewhere along the way, it just suddenly was like, actually, we're just a family. And when you're a family, you are just yourself and you don't do anything. You just live your life. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's easy, and sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's not, and you just go. And that's actually like magic, because like that's what also happens in relationships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you have a partner and you move in together, at some point you switch from being like, oh, we live together,
I'm gonna shut the door when I pee.
Yeah, to just being like kind of like alone together.
Yeah.
That happened, I think, after the last time we filmed together.
Yeah.
Fully.
Frog and Toad. That's the last line of that book. They were just two good friends being alone together.
Really?
Yeah.
We're Frog and Toad, as we've learned.
But I think that
hold on. Before we go on,
yes,
comment down below who you think is Frog and who you think is Toad.
I mean, I feel like that's obvious. But like on every level, including height differential. But what I was going to say is that I feel like it's relative, like who you are to the relationship.
Of course, just like,
because actually in my relationship with Ollie, I'm Frog and he's Toad.
Yeah, I'm Frog in every relationship.
You're the universal frog. Just
I'm
like
frog
on the
zero.
spectrum of, yeah.
I'm frog zero.
And I'm the universal order Muppet
Exactly.
in our friend group, right? Frog Zero, a memoir by Hannah Louise Poston.
Frog and Toad is it's a series of children's books, if you're unfamiliar, and we've been talking gibberish.
It's not just for kids, guys. I just feel like everyone could learn a lot from reading Frog and Toad. Okay.
Let's wrap some more palettes.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think what I would want to know. Like, if you didn't live with two people you weren't related to, I would be like, is it weird when you walk around with no bra on? And the answer would be, at first, yes, but then not any longer.
I haven't even thought about anything like that in so long.
I think you wear a bra less than I do in general, though.
No, I know, but all of the corollaries, you know? Like, just, I mean, for me, sometimes, and I guess if you're a patron of mine, you know this, because a lot of times on Patreon, I come on to do a Get Ready with me without having made any effort to fix myself up. And sometimes I start and I just look like a train wreck. Because sometimes I wake up in the morning. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I look like the Venus rising from the shell. Like, I don't know why.
Like almost every morning.
It's not almost every morning. It's maybe like one out of every maybe 2 weeks.
I feel like it's more often than that. You really sell those PJs.
Well, maybe from the neck down. I look fine most of the time. But
I'm mostly focusing on the neck up.
Some days it's neutral, and then many days I would say I wake up like really looking like I've been hit by a bus. I do think at the beginning I was a little bit like, no longer am I that way. Now I come busting out of our quarters and I'm like, I'm Auntie Hannah and I'm here to braid your hair for school.
Everybody.
And the baby's always like, Auntie Hannah is awake. Every morning. It's like, and it's like she's been asking herself the question on the way down the stairs. I wonder if Auntie Hannah's awake. Yeah. And as soon as she sees me, Auntie Hannah is awake.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really thought about anything appearance related in a long time either.
I wouldn't say it's obvious.
Probably like vis-a-vis even people who aren't in this house. Questionable decisions.
You got this dress.
I did get this dress, but that was for me.
Okay.
It wasn't for them.
Good point.
The baby is obsessed with these buttons. And now she keeps telling me she wants something with buttons on it.
Oh. A recent development is a sensitivity to fashion and appreciation of fashion. Julia it was like she had helped you pick out the cardigan, and it's this like amazing Farm Rio cardigan, very editorial, very splashy. And it came and Julia put it on and walked around the corner and the baby went, Mama, you did it. And it was unclear whether I feel like the most boring reading of that is that like she meant you actually got it, but I actually don't think that's what she was saying. No,
I think she meant like you achieved your body in that article of clothing. Like, congratulations.
I think
you're wearing that sweater.
Yeah, I think she was trying to give you approbation, and that was like the first thing that came out of her mouth, because that's what we say to her a lot.
Yeah, like, yay, you did it.
And yeah. So it was like this abstract congratulations, which is really cute because
she was like, Mama, I've been seeing you in sweatpants for the past literal my entire life, and you put on real clothing. You did it! My favorite thing that she's done recently was when she put on that hard sweater, and then she was like, it looks good. It looks good.
I want you to have the sneaky balm.
No.
Yeah,
it's
because
your sneaky balm.
No, it was for me to swatch and do demonstrations with, and I already did that. I filmed 2.
I'll take that one thing of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe the 2.
Yeah, exactly. You will.
That's all.
Because look how good your chin looks. It's undetectable as makeup.
Okay, well, while we're at it, maybe we should do something about my giant zit then.
I don't see it.
You seriously don't? It's like...
Are you talking about this tiny spot right there? Look, if you want to see a giant zit...
I can't even see that.
That's because it's covered with makeup.
Well, do that to my giant zit.
We're totally off the rails.
No, I know. We really are.
What
okay.
are more things that people are going to want to know about
well, has anyone ever asked you anything, like, in your comments about this? Or...
All the time.
But what do they ask you?
How's it going?
How's it going?
It's like, but I feel like that's what we've kind of been getting at. It's like neutral. It like became really normal that we're doing this, and we stopped trying and yet kept doing it. And that's why it was a good idea. 2 weeks living together is one thing. 2 months living together is another thing. I would say even 4 months, 6 months is kind of another thing. Once you kind of pass the year mark and you're going, it's like your family and there's no going back. I think you said something early on, actually, in one of our early videos about how you were appreciating that it's kind of profound if you're having a bad day to not feel like you have to kind of put on a happy face around your friend. And when you said that at that time, I was kind of like, because I don't really feel like I do that. And so I was thinking of it as like a you thing. I was like, I'm so happy that Julia is not feeling like she needs to keep up appearances with me. And then it really bit me in the butt because I feel like 6 months later, I experienced sort of a shift in because it's totally not true that I don't do that.
Everybody
if I think
does that.
about how, especially compared to how I am with Joe, like I am so much less put together of a person with Joe than I am usually out in the world. If I'm in a bad mood, he'll be like, "How are you doing?" I'll be like, "I'm in a bad mood," and I would never do that to you before. But I feel like at this point,
no, you totally have.
Maybe not to the full extent,
but it's fine.
Much further along towards being like, if I'm bummed out, I'm not like faking it and trying to.
Yeah.
In fact, just this morning, I was working on my thumbnail for this. I mean, the video is not stupid, but a stupid thing happened, which is that there was an error in the processing and we uploaded it anyway, and I had to take it down and re-upload, which I have never really had to do before, and it was horrible. I was like working on the thumbnail and I was just like, "Arr!" And while like you guys were getting ready to go and stuff. And I think a year ago I would have been like doing my work, but I would have been like coming up with like bright things to say to like cover up the fact that I was like, and instead I was just sitting there like, oh my God, like myself, which is just what I would do in my family home with my sister and my parents around.
Yeah, but I feel like that's totally normal. Like they even tell us that at preschool. Because parents will be like, why I never hear my kid having a problem with like eating this food at school, or like my kid won't nap with me, but then they will always nap at school or whatever. And they're like, yeah, because they're at school. Like you just act differently when you're in the world because socialization. And it's probably a good thing. Like it's definitely a good thing for society that I don't go around being like how I am. I feel like for me, there's just like a period of time in the morning before I get going. I don't drink coffee. I'm not like, and I am actually a morning person. I like the morning. I'm my most productive in the morning, but I also like to be left alone right at the beginning of the day because I'm thinking about stuff. Like I'm thinking about what I need to do, and I'm like making lists in my head, and I'm like trying to achieve tasks, and I don't want to see anybody, and I don't want to talk to anybody, and I just don't. Like if you catch me at noon, I'm like, hey girl, like what? It's because the morning happened at 7 and now the day has progressed. At 7, you don't want to talk to me and I don't want to talk to you. So, and I feel like everybody knows that now. Like yes. Ollie never has tried to talk to me at 7 in the morning before this year because he's never been awake then.
But this is a great example because I went through like this. I went through this thing about you. I don't know if we've really talked about this before, but here's what happened. When we first moved in, there was all of this adjustment period, and then things started to settle down, and it became clear that this became clear. And my first reaction was to be like, oh no, like Julia doesn't want me to talk to her in the mornings because like if I come in and I'm like, hi, or I think a classic, you come down wearing the outfit that you're going to wear and I'm like, wow, look at your beautiful, and I can always tell that you're like you're just not available. You know what I mean? So the first thing I did was like, I'm going to like rein it in. I was like, Julia wants to be left alone. I'm going to leave her alone. That was probably around like the 6 to 8 month mark. And some months after that, I was just like, I'm just myself. I'm tired of like not being myself. So like it came all full circle, and then I started going in and being like, good morning, hi. Just as I have to deal with you not wanting to be with people first thing in the morning, you also have to deal with me wanting to comment on your beautiful outfits every morning. And it's not ideal for either of us just the way that between two people, it's never the case that every single interaction, every single thing is perfect, right? But the thing that's amazing is that neither one of us is trying to not be the thing. It's not like disrespect or wanting to bother you or anything. It's just the kind of like letting go of trying to be perfect or be the perfect version of yourself for the other person. That I haven't even really articulated that to myself with regards to that exact morning exchange. And now it's going to be really weird tomorrow morning now that we've talked about it.
Maybe tomorrow morning I'll be like, hi, look at your outfit.
You'll swan down the stairs and be like, da-da, da-da, da-da. This is what I'm wearing. I can totally see that.
What's going to happen?
I think people are going to want to know if we're going to be really sad, and everyone's going to be like, it's so sad.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I told Toya that you guys like had a date the other day, and she was like, oh, I'm so emotional. And I was like, I'm not.
My mom cried on the phone. We were talking on the phone last week, and she started trying to ask the question, like, are you emotionally prepared to move away from the baby? And she like couldn't even get the question out because she started crying. It was so sweet. I know. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of that.
But I mean, I think the answer to that question is no, you aren't. The thing is, you can't. It's like any major life event, like having a kid or going to college or whatever. Like, you can't actually emotionally prepare for it. You just have to do it and then respond to however it feels. And it's just the thing that's happening. Nobody is emotionally prepared for it, except for maybe the baby, who has literally been being emotionally prepared for it by 4 adults for the past 2 months.
Because we take every opportunity to be like, leaving. Auntie Hannah and Uncle Joe are going to their new house, or XYZ. Every morning I'm like, today I'm going to pack my things into our boxes because Uncle Joe and I are moving to our new house and Sadie is moving to, and she's always like, but not Cordy.
Yeah. Remember when we first told her and she was like, Mama's going to be sad. That was her first response.
When we first broke the news, she was like, Mama's going to be sad.
The thing that I said to Toya the other day was that it progressed. You were here for a reason and it was great. And now you have other reasons to be going somewhere else. And that's also great. I think in life, you get into a situation, you feel you take some time to adjust to the situation, you get comfortable with the situation, and then it just becomes what's happening. It becomes life.
Yeah.
And every time you change from whatever that stasis is, it feels uncomfortable and maybe bad, and maybe part of you wishes that it wasn't going to happen because you feel comfortable where you are.
Yeah.
You grow every time. But in this particular situation, I feel like, the reasons that we were doing this kind of don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And this isn't the ideal situation for any of us in terms of, not in terms of living together, but in terms of like what we would choose if there were no external life circumstances that had prompted us to move together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like we as 4 adults were like, okay, we really want to live together and that's the one factor that we know. And so we're going to find a location that works for all 4 of us and we're going to like set everything up in a way that works for everybody. Instead, we were like each doing our own things. And then we were like, these intervening life circumstances have made it so that it makes a lot of sense for us to live together and we all like each other and that's great. And so we're going to do it for a while. And now those intervening life circumstances have kind of dissipated and everybody has their own stuff that they still want. And it's different for the 2 couples. Like, even though we love you guys and maybe even in an ideal universe, we would live together for a really long time,
or
right?
Close
by to each other. It wouldn't be ideal for Ollie and me to pick up our lives and move to the place that you're going to move to.
Yeah.
And it's not ideal for you to stay here in our house forever.
Right.
Either.
And if we were going to do that, as great as this house is, we would need a different house.
Yeah, right.
Or we would need to renovate or something, you know what I mean? And so now that those external circumstances are starting to recede, the things that aren't ideal are starting to become more present, I think, for all of us. Not in a way where it's like, oh my God, like this has to end. But, you know, Joe and I, for example, were really ready to not exactly expand the YouTube channel, but refine. We're always growing, and Joe was always wanting to like update the equipment and stuff. And just in very simple terms, I would like to make a better background, like build a background from scratch. And it's just, there's nothing doing in this space. We just have to work with what we have in all of these ways. You know, when we first got here, it was like an absolute godsend in so many ways, just speaking about the channel, of course, in so many other ways as well. But just in terms of running the YouTube channel, this is a bigger space than we've ever had before for setting up filming. And it was amazing to be able to have somewhere to land and to be able to have the space and time to nourish the channel and get it to grow. It was such a gift from you guys that you were willing to have us here to be able to do that. It has borne fruit so much. A lot of you guys have subscribed in the time since that happened, and we wouldn't have been able to be making the content and growing the channel and giving you what the channel's giving you if it weren't for this space. And it's actually a testament to that we've hit a wall where we're like ready to keep growing and we've outgrown it, you know? But I think that's happened in a lot of ways. And it's also, I think maybe happened with you guys. I don't want to speak for you, but like the nuclear family as parents of a baby, there was a period of time during which it made a huge difference to have two other people literally in your house, 4 pairs of hands on deck. And it's not like that anymore. And in a way, it's like we're taking up space in the house that like you guys are ready to grow back into, because now the baby takes up more space and she needs more space, and we're all ready, you know?
Yeah, and like things have changed. I mean, we can see our relatives again.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not like I'm like, oh my God, when are they going to leave? I mean, I know when you're going to leave, but also like I never, like you could have stayed here for years and I never would have been like, get out. But a silver lining of the situation is going to be like, this is going to become a dining room again. We can have our family over for Passover and do a Seder in our house, and there will be enough space, even if our relatives from the East Coast come back.
Or
like,
we come back.
Or you come back. Or like, yeah, but you know what I mean? Like when we first got this house, that was why I wanted to have the extra space. It wasn't because I was thinking that like maybe you guys would need to
exactly
for 2 years. But I mean, it's always been such an important part of our lives as a couple to like have a place for people to stay when they visit and to like host parties and be a place where people come. And I want that. And I want that for the baby. I want her to grow up feeling a sense of community, which I think happens from like having things in your home, having family things, having community things in your home. And we haven't been able to do that because of COVID. So it hasn't mattered at all. But now we will be able to. And that is something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Like any change, there's something sad about losing the way things were before. I'm sure that we're all going to feel nostalgic.
I know, I already do. I'm already like, remember the time.
But I have to say that I'm a person who is very susceptible to doing that in life. And one thing that I have tried, like, I mean, I'll tell you, many years ago, one day I was over at Lynn's house. I was meeting her there to do something, my mother-in-law. I was the first person to get to the house. And, you know, this was at a time when my brother was still living here in Los Angeles. All of my in-laws were here and everyone was coming over for some dinner, and I was there to like help Lynn prep. And I just remember like sitting in the kitchen and looking out at the yard and thinking, one day we're not all gonna be here. And I was so sad that I just like started crying. You know, because it's sad and it's true.
And it's always, every moment is like that.
Yeah.
Every moment in life is like that.
So, I mean, one thing that I feel like I've been working on for myself for the better part of my adult life is to not be so sad about the things that are going to change that I don't enjoy the things that are happening as they're happening, because I think for me, it's like every great moment in life is also accompanied by a feeling of sadness that it can't go on like that forever. And so one thing that I've been working on like my whole adult life is to feel less of that feeling and more just of the appreciation of the thing that's happening as it's happening. And so I'm trying really hard to do that with this and like this whole experience. I mean, this whole experience, I've been trying to do that. I've been trying both to remind myself, like, I've been trying to remind myself that it's not going to be forever.
Yeah.
For
me too.
Every reason. And I feel like it's been good, actually, and now I know I'm going to be sad. And I know I'm going to be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know I'm going to be happy for you.
Yeah.
It's all good. I feel actually like I'm able to, in this last bit of time, just live and be together, try to enjoy the things that we're doing for the last time, but not think of them so much as the last time, because the thing is, they're also not the last time we're ever going to do that stuff together.
I know.
You guys, you guys are going to come back at some point. We're all going to sit on that couch and watch Drag Race together.
Yeah, it's true.
Again, and so I don't know.
You're not going to be able to, you're not going to be rid of us.
And you're not going to be rid of us.
Yeah.
And you're going to miss me when you're gone.
I'm gone. we have promised the baby that we'll be visiting, that you guys will be visiting as soon as you can, and that we'll be visiting, which we would probably do anyway, but it's the stakes are high.
Yeah, no, I actually think that's a good feature of the situation. If I was looking to trap you for the rest of your life, I have succeeded. It wasn't my plan.
She's big. The baby's big on remember when Auntie Hannah and Uncle Joe had a wedding. I think a lot of you do know this, but we got married during the pandemic and we did it in the backyard of this house. She was there and she was the only baby and she was the flower girl.
She was the only baby.
The only baby.
Was she the only baby?
Anytime anyone talks about remembering anything, she's like, remember when Auntie Hannah and Uncle Joe had a wedding? And I was a flower girl.
I feel like that's the biggest event that we have
that
the
occurred.
Only event. But one thing that happened is just that the baby changed so much from the time. I mean, she couldn't even talk or walk when you first moved here.
No teeth.
And she's an adult now. I actually feel really grateful to have had other people living through that on a daily basis with me, and especially one of my best friends. The whole thing has been mind-boggling to me, almost to the point where it's I feel like if I were to try to explain it to a stranger off the street, they wouldn't believe me. 27 months ago, there was a thing inside my body, and now it tells me it wants to hear Love Shack by the B-52s. They would be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they'd be like, was it an alien?
It was.
Was it an alien who loves music?
I've been saying that the whole time.
It's almost like the fact that 4 of us witnessed and participated so closely in it makes it more real.
Yeah.
Because we have each other to talk to about it, where if it was just the 2 of you, it would have been did this even happen?
I know. I feel like even when we talk about it to our friend group, they kind of don't believe us.
Yeah. I mean, she's a really special kid, but it's every kid goes from having no teeth to teeth and not talking to talking. And so
no hair to hair.
Yeah, and so it's not as though it's
No, it's just weird. Yeah, it's just weird that you come out like a pooping potato and then 2 years later you're a whole person. And I feel like even having been on the immediate front lines of it for the past 2 years, I don't understand how any of it happens. Shocking. I don't understand how she came out of me.
I know.
I don't. And I was there for a really long time, let me tell you. I can't believe she eats a hot dog.
I know. I've been looking at old pictures because I've been wanting to print some pictures out to have albums and stuff. Old video. I go back in my phone and I watched videos of, the months after we moved in when she couldn't talk yet. And it's so weird because it wasn't that long ago in our adult time. I'm not that different. I sound the same. And I'm talking to this person who is just upstairs having a nap right now. And I see her every day and we talk all the time. I'm talking to her in the video from a year or so ago, a year and a half ago, and she's a little bit responsive, but she's not talking. And I'm talking in the video in a way that makes it clear that past Hannah at the time of filming knew that this other person wasn't going to respond.
It's actually really weird for me to watch those videos because sometimes I can see her, I know what she was going to say.
Yeah, exactly.
I know what she was thinking then.
I watched the video and I'm like, baby, her name, I'm watching the video and I'm like, why aren't you saying anything? Why aren't you saying, why aren't you talking? Because she looks like a very mushy version of herself, but But it's her. It's just her. It's her face. It's her energy. It's her personality. And she's just not talking yet. It's so weird. Y'all, it's so
really weird.
It's like, welcome to our video about communal living, which is actually just about the miracle of life.
Baby stuff.
But, it's real because one huge defining aspect of the narrative is we moved into your house after 4 or 5 months of quarantine because of COVID and because we needed somewhere to go. In a weird way, I could see it having made sense even absent the baby. There are all sorts of other things about it that made sense. But another thing that happened is that we moved into your house when the baby was 7 months old and stayed until she was well over 2 years old. Absent COVID, that's its whole own thing. It's its whole own just amazing thing. And I actually feel like it's the main thing at this stage. And of course, all the stuff we've been talking about of us living together.
Yeah.
Which is great. But when I think about the miraculous, wonderful things that happened, it's like she said her first word, she walked, she went to school. And I'm not even thinking about we got vaccinated, we went to a restaurant and ate outdoors. You know what I mean?
Yes, in a way, our last 2 years were also born a pooping potato and have now emerged a whole human.
Maybe it's because I'm ready to let go of all of the trauma of the pandemic, but I want to pull with me into the future all that has been precious about being with the baby.
It was great. No, the pandemic sucked on a lot of different levels, but it was a blessing to also have this during that time because it keeps you focused on something that's really awesome happening every day. And it's such a gift. So
we have packed 1/4 of the eyeshadow palette.
No, we did really well.
Enough to title the video. Julia helps me pack my eyeshadow palette.
Here, hand me another thing. I'll pack another one right now. I'll do it.
It's very weird. Right now is weird. Everything's changing very fast. I think we're all just holding on to our hats and going. Everything's swirling around and up in the air, especially in our lives, but as a consequence also in yours. And there are some other things that have been changing for you guys just in general. And so you've got us at a weird time, guys. We're just, I think.
Yes.
We have both gotten a lot better at being okay with not knowing and not holding on too tight. And the fact that we don't have all that much to say about this transition is kind of a sign of that. Because I think that maybe our past selves would be I need to parse and define and hold on and understand and reiterate every little thing about how this is affecting us, and I need to control and hold on to and shape every aspect of this and capture everything. And instead we're both kind of just happening. Life's just happening. And I do feel the one thing, the best I can do, and I think you're doing this too, is to just try to appreciate it. So in the moment every day, I'm so happy I'm getting to braid the baby's hair this time, another time. And we get to be together another time. We get to watch Drag Race another time. And that's the one thing that's the one kind of energy I'm exerting. And I'm really trying to just not do the other things that a younger Hannah might have done about change.
Yeah. I think that one consequence of getting older and maybe even of having the baby is that I've realized that I just don't know what anything is going to mean to me until later. And it also might not mean the same thing to me at different points later. Just the experience of having her totally losing a sense of self for a while and personhood. And then because it's so drastic and so much changes. And then finding myself again, pieces of my old self, but also who I what's different about me now, and piecing that back together into something that looks like a sort of functional human. I feel I didn't know that was gonna happen, and nothing could have prepared me for it. And even thinking you just don't know when something breaks, you don't know how it's gonna break.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's you just have to wait until it does, and then you put it back together however you are going to. And I feel that about this too. Separating is a rupture in the fabric of your daily life. And we just don't know what that's going to look like yet. But there are exciting things on the other side of it.
It's going to look like you getting a lot of texts from me.
Well, yeah, obviously. I don't know if you thought that you were going to stop getting 25 texts a day about random crap the baby says to me on the way home.
25 texts a day? I feel like it's 25 texts an hour.
It's like 25 texts some hours.
We have a robust WhatsApp relationship, partnership.
Yes.
Marriage.
Yeah.
I spent $2 and bought the Strange Planet sticker pack.
You're really
I've been aggressively sending them to Julia.
You have made the most of that $2. You've gotten your $2.
No, there are a lot that you haven't seen yet. I've gotten like a 50 cents worth.
I think you've gotten $2 worth out of it. You're going to get $45 worth out of the $2 pack.
At least. I do recommend. They're everything.
The correct one for the tacos this morning was on point.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that reminds me that I'm actually really hungry and there are tacos.
I guess this is probably it for me and you two.
Oh, I doubt it. I feel like you're going to be in another video within the year.
I mean, okay. Maybe.
Because the idea is like we're going to set up in our new house. The studio is going to be very versatile so that we can easily film fashion videos, head to toe videos, multiple other videos with other people in them. I mean, the idea is that My Beautiful Friend will be the work of but a moment. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having your channel in my house.
Thank you so much for letting us live in your house for 1.5 years, even though we're so big and tall and we take up so much room.
You guys are really tall.
I know.
You know, the real thing is, as I mentioned the other day, it's just that you use a tremendous amount of silverware.
But that only happened after we packed our own silverware.
Well, you were still using the same amount. It's just that some of it was your silverware.
I know, but that's why it's all gone now every day. Because half of it's
packed. Yes. No, I know. But I just want to tell you that this whole time I've been thinking that's a lot of spoons.
There's nothing we missed, right? I guess not, because we didn't have a plan.
I think we missed everything.
Yeah.
And nothing.
Everything and nothing.
You know, and the moral, as we predicted, was life.
Life just happens and you can't control it.
Yeah.
But you can refrain from wasting a lot of time and energy trying.
And also, life happens, and 2 years after it happens, it talks way more than you think it was going to.
Really? I was pretty confident that it was going to.
Yeah, I guess I was too, mostly just because it's related to me.
Maybe the reality is like way, way beyond what we anticipated. The reality
it's still shocking.
Could not have been predicted.
Even if you thought it was going to happen.
And she's already making jokes.
Old MacDonald had a poop.
Well, I mean, that seems like pretty classic fare, but I was thinking about Night Beaver. Because, I mean, there's a lot about the joke that she doesn't understand. But, no, my cheeks are seizing up. Ollie was showing the baby a book about animals. She was like, what kind of animal is that? And he was like, those are beavers. And she was like, Night Beaver. The 2-year-old child started singing Night Beaver to the tune of Night Fever upon learning the name of the animal beaver. And as soon as I saw Julia, I told her that this had happened. And she was like, that's my drag name. Okay, we have to go. Joe is telling us we have to go. I know. We're doing it. We're doing it now. I've like forgotten that we're filming a YouTube video. I feel like we're just here.
I know. I think the moral of the story is that if we do ever do this again, we should have one discrete topic and then discuss it, or a set of questions.
Yeah, maybe. We didn't learn our lesson with the body scrubs.
But do we ever? I hope this is going to be more interesting than the body
scrubs video. It will. The problem with the body scrubs video, if I do say, is that we didn't talk enough. We were just there like stirring our scrubs. We fell silent.
Oh, please say that to Ollie.
We're just going to go. We're wrapping it up with no ceremony. If you've watched to the end, then bless your soul.
And please remember to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the best version of yourself while you do your work in the world.
Close it up. Close it up. My cheek cramp.
I got you the beef ones.
Right.
The brisket.
That's great.
Wait, do we need to do the moment of silence?
Yeah, that's a good idea.